Good evening. I'm Glenda Carlin, and this is my weekly A Course in Miracles meeting with Tibetan Buddhism, and it is July 29, 2025. This is my weekly A Course in Miracles Zoom meetings from 7 to 8 Eastern Daylight Time. And tonight, well, in general, I admit people prior to the meeting and we end up chatting. And tonight, one of our group members, Dee, was explaining that this morning, right off the bat, she was sitting on her back porch and heard a neighbor calling, "Help me, help me, help me." And she went to the gate and talked to her, and the neighbor said that her brother was dead or dying. And Dee went into the home, called 911, and the 911 person talked her through doing CPR, which she'd never done before. Bless her heart. She tried CPR, but to breathe in his mouth wouldn't open. That means, that he had been dead for a bit. And then the EMTs came, and neighbors and nephews and nieces came, and Dee walked out of the house and saw this one EMT person and knew him, but he looked at her and said she looked pale. And she was pale, and she said that when she gets under a big, not stress like that, but overwhelmed like that, she passes out, and she passed out right there. Thank God the EMT guy was there to help her. So what I want to do is, and of course, she's still feeling upset by this. So what we're going to do together, all of us here, welcome God Ed, welcome God Dee, welcome God Angela, welcome God Jerry, welcome God Debbie, welcome God Chaz, welcome God Terry, welcome God Leon, welcome God Glenda. Let's just take, we're going to do some deep breathing and that means like 2 finger widths, picture 2 finger widths below your navel. Take a deep breath in from that area. Deep breath in. Hold it for just a second. And then on the exhale, go, and drop your shoulders. Just drop and release your shoulders. Then take another deep breath in, 2 finger widths below the navel. Hold a second on the exhale. Say, and drop your shoulders. Let's just do that a 3rd time. Take a deep breath in. Then on the exhale, say, Now, D's muted. D, I want you to specifically just go, All of us can do this. Feel as you go, your shoulders go up and then they drop. Take another deep breath and just, What we're doing, we're relaxing and we're letting go. We're letting go to just relax. And Barbie texted me. She was having some pain, and I kind of texted her back about breathing in or out of that pain. So wherever you feel most anxious, I don't know if you feel anxious in your heart area or your 3rd eye, I'm not sure, wherever you feel it, your stomach, breathe in and out of the area where you feel nervous or overwhelmed. Just slowly breathe in and out of that area. That means you're focusing your attention on that area. We're not ignoring this feeling. We're not repressing it, which, see, since childhood, we've not really taught how to handle our feelings. And so they kind of automatically get stored because, we just don't let them be. Now, what I'm talking about here is we're not going to allow these thoughts to go on for a week or 2, you know what I mean? But right now, we're allowing these thoughts, maybe today and tomorrow. You're still sitting with them, feeling them, being with them, and you'll feel when the pressure comes off. Now at the same time, let's just picture her neighbor that's out back, the woman, and is it her brother or son?
Her brother.
or brother. Picture the man, a brother. And see, we don't have to know their identity because I've learned this due to Terry did that biofeedback healing on me. All we have to kind of know is point our attention that way. And we're sending our awareness to the woman and her brother and the family because of their feeling of distress and loss and grief and so this is so perfect because part of the thing that I'm going to talk about tonight is I really, really had not understood what true giving and receiving are. And I've only learned this last week. Um, and why I learned it, we're going to still, our attention's still on Dee and the loved ones, but there's this book, The Holy Teaching of Vimalakirti, and he's like a real wise, holy, enlightened being that Buddha sent Manjusri and all kinds of beings to check on him because he was feeling sick, and he felt sick because humanity was sick. The sentient beings were sick. So he was in compassion and felt their sickness. Now, we're not going to feel their grief. I'm not saying that. We're just breathe in and out of. We just breathe in and out of this. We're not feeling their grief. This gentleman, this holy being did something he could do. We're not doing that. I'm not doing that. So anyway, I read in that book where some enlightened being that Buddha sent to go check on this person, check on Vimalakirti, um, oh, no, no, wait. These holy people, the Buddhists asked them to go check on Vimalakirti. One by one, there was like 15 of them or more, said decline the Buddha to go and check on this Vimalakirti because they would cite a specific example that when they were in the midst of teaching their group of people, Vimalakirti would show up and damn correct them right there on the spot and tell him, you shouldn't be teaching them that. That's incorrect. And he would start teaching the correct teaching. And when he got done, whoever was in that crowd got enlightened. I'm not kidding. That's how powerful his teachings were. But anyway, when I was reading in the book, Vimalakirti was correcting someone to say, because they said, oh, they went and gave material items to this group of people. And Vimalakirti said, no, the true giving is to give of the Dharma. And he called it Dharma sacrifice. And teach them the Dharma, teach them the Dharma. So as I sat there and thought about that, that was kind of stored in my mind. But I was sitting in my chair and it came to me to practice this one loop breathing that Holy Spirit's had me do, where on the out breath, I exhale pure, clear light. And on the in breath, and that pure, clear light then breaks up the delusion that I breathed into. And then on my inhale, I inhale the broken pieces up of that darkness, and that dispels the darkness within that form. And that is what we're going to do now with Dee, the neighbor woman, and the brother and the family. We're just going to take it on the exhale breath. I just want you to visualize the clear light of spirit is going out. It's going out to Dee and all these people. And that clear light is so powerful. It's called a Vajra tool, Vajra, diamond vision. It cuts through the delusion of their grief and suffering. We're not discounting it. We're just cutting through it to relieve it, to help relieve it, their suffering. Breathe the clear light out. And then on your in breath, we suck in the broken up pieces of darkness, not identifying with it, not holding it, just breathing it in, and it's dispelled by the clear light that we are. So that's true giving and receiving. That kind of blew me away. But I have to say, it is totally transformative and totally healing. And since I'm on that subject, I'll share another part that was in the email, is that during our daily meditation group out of LA, usually the facilitator will ask us to take our awareness to one person in the group and then maybe another person, but then to spread our awareness out through the whole group. So the other day, when David said, take our awareness out to one person, I picked Terry, who's here. And when I do that, automatically my third eye and my heart, I don't do anything. They pulsate out in and out of that person's third eye and heart area all by themselves. Now, up to 6 months ago, I would visualize this happening because it didn't happen, but I knew that was the deal. Third eye is the diamond vision, the God eye, the third. It cuts through, and the heart, the Vajra heart, it cuts through. That's what called Vajra is, diamond, lightning bolt. It cuts through. But do you know that particular time when this was all done and we were allowed to share, I shared that I had done this, and and I had done this pulsation. Picked Tina as the second one. Tina, when I said I did this to Tina, Tina unmuted and said she had her cat on her lap, and the cat was purring and kind of asleep, kind of purring. And she said, all of a sudden, the cat kind of stood up and looked around like something was there. And Tina said she could feel the presence of something. Now, this is the first, see, my light's getting stronger and stronger. And she felt my presence. She didn't know what she felt, but it was my presence. Well, not my presence, the God clear light presence went. Now, why I'm also sharing is Terry is a holistic healer. She's here in our group, and she has a biofeedback machine, and she did a treatment on me. And in that, I've never had a biofeedback treatment. All she needed to know was my name, my address, my birthday, my birth time, and my current address. She types that into the machine, and the machine can find me by this frequency, my light frequency, through the ethers. Now, why I know this works, because prior to Tina telling me she could feel my presence, I've only had one or two other people ever say it, but I know I can feel the presence of an enlightened being that I know. But I never really thought about, how at the speed of light, our presence can go the heck, like I'm looking at Angela now, Angela. But the thing is, so this biofeedback machine has a base value and it evaluates different categories. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but the point is, it was shockingly true. She would ask me things, and that machine, Angela's clicked on her head. It would pick up on things nobody would know unless they were inside my body or feeling my organs or my skin or in my mind. But Terry would say, oh, now we're going to do a healing, like my root chakra and sacral chakra were lower frequency. But anyway, when we're going to do a healing, she says, and do you know, in my ears would start popping. And my ears pop when the frequency either changes in my mind or when that enlightened being visits me. Because their frequency changes what I'm picking up on. I'm just letting y'all know the power of your intentions is tremendous. Just the visualization and the trying here, sending this light to D and her neighbor and the brother and the children, it's powerful. And we can do this same healing for the universe. So back to when I'm sitting in my chair, what I was doing on that exhaling of the in-breath, out-breath to send out the clear light to break up the darkness of separation, then sucking or breathing in the darkened pieces to dispel them. I was breathing out for the whole universe. Now, see, this is sort of things that are different now because to get to this point, what I've done, I practice on individual people over and over. I'm thinking about people as their clear light. But it's generalized. Jesus calls it this. It generalizes these truths generalized, where they've generalized, and I now am wanting to help heal the whole universe of beings. And you can do the same thing because then you just picture the universe, the vast universe, and you're just exhaling into the vast universe of your pure light and inhaling the broken up darkness and letting it loop because that clear light will dispel it. Anyway, that's the point. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for helping Dee and the neighbors. And of course, they represent probably millions within the 8 billion people that are suffering or losing loved ones. Our hearts go out to those that are suffering. Oh, now this is another item that's a breadcrumb that brought me home. Because the topic of tonight's teaching is, I sent out a revised email with a Word document in it about following the breadcrumbs home. That was the teaching name that was given to me by Holy Spirit from all the things that went on last week. And I wondered, why did he give me that name for which thing to talk about? And I realized why he gave me that name is he wanted me to rewrite and contemplate or sit with and deeply contemplate what were the breadcrumbs that I had been following to bring me home so that I could share that with you. And so today, over like a 5 hour different times, three different times, I then wrote this new email. And one of the breadcrumbs, besides giving and receiving, another one is, what were we just talking about? It'll come back to me what I was going to talk about. There's 25 of them here, so I forget which one. Okay, so let's go back to the start then. And I also recognize when I can't remember something, I'm kind of supposed to restart, readjust, because now I need to go back to the kind of the summary of this whole thing that I realized after Holy Spirit had me start listing all these breadcrumbs that I follow back home. What was the commonality of them? The commonality was that since 2014, I've learned to ask Holy Spirit for help and also to ask Holy Spirit nearly every day, guide me what to do or say. Those two things I've asked. And because asking for that, I'm acknowledging I don't know what's for my highest good. Help me out here. I don't want to be off track. But even in saying that, what generation came to me of the whole big picture is no matter what shows up, it's perfect and just like it's supposed to be. I'd have to tell you, I never thought that. I always wanted to change it. It sure didn't look effing perfect to me. But it's only in the last month or two, acceptance, allowing, really acceptance. But so, and why that could come to me is I look back on my life. When I didn't know to ask Holy Spirit to help me, guess what? He was always helping me. Always. Now, there's some saying that they say God, but God doesn't know about any of this stuff. But I say, where they say they're out walking on the beach and they look down and there's only one set of footsteps and they think, Jesus is walking beside them or something. And then Jesus was saying, no, there's only one set of footsteps because I was carrying you. And when I wrote that for my email, tears came to my eyes because I didn't know prior to 2014 or in the early 2000s that Holy Spirit walked with me, Jesus, Buddha, and the enlightened beings walked with me. I was alone. I was just doing I was doing the regular thing of beats me trying to make the best decision I could. But even in that, Holy Spirit was there. Now, why he's there is every thought that's going through my mind, everything that shows up in front of my face, it's there for a reason. It's no accident, no mistake. What's so the saying, it's not the cards you're dealt, but how you play the hand. Because everything that's in front of my face and in my mind is collective and individual karma showing up. And as I purify my thoughts of separation from God, which is this forgiveness of all the people have ever showed up in my lifetime, because that is one of the breadcrumbs I followed, was identifying the names from childhood to adulthood of names of people, friends, neighbor, co-ops, the whole ball of wax, and thinking of them as spirit, not once, but many times a year for, let's see, that was 2018. So for almost 7 years, because these judgments that are automatic knee-jerk judgments that the egoic mind makes of people that come in our presence is automatic and gets stored in the unconscious mind. Now, some of them we may know because we'll feel odd because we're thinking we agreed with ego. They were bad or whatever. But anyway, when I look back, everything was for my highest good. And even when, like in college, I picked a biology degree and graduated with a biology degree, and in my senior year, I started working part-time at J.C. Penney's just to earn some money, and I have a friend that worked there. I realized sales and marketing were my innate abilities. So all Penney's cared about was I had a college degree, and I went into their management program. But how could I decide to go from biology to sales? It was how I felt. So I felt happier in sales, so I did it. Then when I look back at my relationships prior to meeting my husband, is how do you know if a relationship works or not is how you feel. Either I decide it's not working or they decide it's not working. But in the illusion, one of us is probably going to seem hurt and is going to be judgy and repeat a bunch of stories about the whole deal back and forth, right? So what I saw when I look back on those years that I didn't know I didn't know Holy Spirit was walking with me, Jesus and Buddha, I didn't know that. Um, they were there, but the difference is what I've learned now is the same kind of choices come up, but the decisions when I make them, I've now laid off this judging part of labeling and sorting and identifying them as good or bad. That's where the karma gets all glued up and screwed up. Subject, object, and actions, like my actions towards those objects, becomes karma that gets stuck in the body and has to be released. It's got to be released. But anyway, now there's the same choices, but I make them entirely differently. So I'm awareful of what's showing up in front of my face or in my mind, who calls, who doesn't call, what's showing up. That's freedom because you're in the flow. I never understood what the flow meant. The flow is whatever's showing up out front or in my mind is the flow. And it's have I mastered and identified the nature of mind? That's why one of the breadcrumbs was daily meditation, especially sky gazing meditation. So what I've described was a breadcrumb was forgiveness, advanced forgiveness, breadcrumb now is of sky gazing meditation to learn the nature of this clear light God mind is always creating things. It'll never stop having thoughts and feelings. It's me being aware of the six senses, thinking, smelling, seeing, hearing, just letting those senses just be, just hearing, just smelling, just seeing, and catching myself when I'm starting to judge them and lay off that judgment. Just let them be. Then that's the breadcrumb of learning the nature of your mind, and then seeing the nature of your mind, the flow of thoughts and feelings, because things that are within the mind will show up outside. So you get it, but it's all perfect just like it is. One of the other breadcrumbs is to see the natural great perfection, the great completion of things left just as they are. Doesn't mean I can't make these decisions and say to someone, no, I'm not doing that. I've set this boundary. I need you to leave now. Just matter of fact, without the judgment, you still can make these choices. That's what I was confused about when I was in my sleeping state. You kind of get, when they say leave it as it is, you're going to think we got to put up with that stuff. No, leave it as it is means not this judging part of it. You still make these choices. All right, so let's go to this. Let's go to this list. And for those listening that aren't familiar with the course, I need to clarify, and I may have to continue this next week, but Holy Spirit, what Holy Spirit is. At the moment, at the split nanosecond that the Son of God believed in the separation, God created Holy Spirit. It was the voice to call us to bring us back home. God could not acknowledge this separation. He can't dabble in this because he's absolute, the absolute stillness of equal love. He knows nothing about this, but he created Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit is the mediator because he knows of the absolute God and he knows of this relative physical world. And he will never forsake us. He's always there to answer our questions and to help us. The only reason we don't hear him is we're thinking all these thoughts. We're just thinking thoughts, not pause to be quiet and not, and we're also expecting him to give you a certain answer. I've known that. One, you expect an answer, a certain answer. No, so we let go of our thoughts and let go. But more than that, it takes over time of learning the nature of the mind is these thoughts come and go. If you let your thoughts come and go without grabbing and pushing and clinging to them, resisting them, guess what? Your thoughts settle like snowflakes on a warm lake. Then your mind's not jarring around, not all shook apart. Guess what? It gets quieter and quieter, and you can hear thoughts from Holy Spirit and your higher Buddha Christ consciousness as well. But anyway, Holy Spirit's there to help you and your Christ Buddha higher consciousness. So see, in my life prior to even knowing about Holy Spirit in the Course, I didn't know it. I was following the breadcrumbs that Holy Spirit was laying down. And how that was based on how did I feel. Something wasn't feeling good. I was pretty good at, well, that's not the right choice. I'm going to do this. And so then that decision brings you to another decision and then another decision. It's very sequential. Now, in that forgiveness crumb that I practiced was that saying all of it, to every image that showed up in front of my face and to every image in my mind that I could remember to, and that list of people in my childhood and adulthood, go down that list, thinking of each one as all of it. And all of it excuse me, per what Holy Spirit told me means when something is all of it, it means there's nothing else. That means there's only God. There's only the clear light of God. But anyway, other breadcrumbs was in that grocery store up in Kansas City, Missouri. I mean, what the hey? Just talking to a person at the grocery store who told me about Unity Church. I went to Unity Church, and then Unity Church is the one I found was teaching A Course in Miracles. We're talking back 78, 79. The course came out maybe 76, right? That started this spiritual path. And then let's see, what was it then? Oh, then 2014, when I read in the course, here was a breadcrumb that you can't have one dark judgment to be in God's presence, where I said, oh, then I won't be in God's presence because I knew I was still judging people. I knew, of course, because you feel negative towards people. That's a judgment. But we're not taught that what judgment is. It just seems to be something we automatically do, good or bad, man. And if they're bad, I can talk all about them and just get all caught up in the memory and the stories and ruminate on it. No, that's gossip. That is keeping the separation alive. But anyway, when that happened to me, I yelled out 3 times in a row, Holy Spirit, help me. Holy Spirit, help me. Holy Spirit, help me. And in my mind came the book, Gary Renard's Disappearance of the Book, Image. I sold books at that time, ran upstairs, opened the totes, found the book. New, never been opened. In it, I learned this advanced forgiveness, which I had been to the course meetings and I never understood what practicing advanced forgiveness. That means looking beyond the flesh to the clear light of spirit that's here. Now that brings up a point. How the hell do we know the spirit's clear light? Spirit can be varying colors because, for example, when my mom passed, she was 96. She was living with my sister. My sister was with her. And my mom just said she was tired and she took a breath and that was it, folks. And my sister saw this white puff of light come off her head. And I told my sister later, that's her spirit leaving her body. So when they say the clear light of spirit, I know what that means. You see, it's instead of that white puff, it's clear puff. It's clear light, is spirit. But anyway, that's when I, in 2014, learned about advanced forgiveness from A Course in Miracles. And then I went to a Gary Renard seminar, workshop, in-person workshop, and on a table we had all his books and CDs. I'm here to tell you, I bought one of everything he had. I brought it home and I was reading it all, listening to it all, because see, he had credibility with me. Well, in one of these CDs, he's speaking and he's talking about a meditation in the course that I didn't realize the course even had meditations in it, which it's all through it, I see now in the workbook. But Jesus only uses that word meditation twice. He'll just say, oh, let your thoughts come and go. Let them all go in a stream. Just, be or in his quiet little ways. He's leading you in a meditation. But the thing was, there was a meditation. I did this meditation for 4 years, along with saying all of it, not knowing what the hell would happen. I had no idea anything would happen other than maybe I'd get more peaceful, right? I don't know. But in that meditation, over and over and over and over, I visualized that arc of light expanded to become a circle. That means like you drew a circle with a pencil, a round circle. The arc of light made a circle. And then within the circle was filled with light. I'd see that inside that circle filled with light. I'd see then the edges of the circle disappear. Then I visualized that they disappeared into the infinity of God. So this is like 3 or 4 stages. I, I just did that. Well, what that's called is space mingling meditation. It's a high-fangled meditation that I didn't realize I was naturally doing. So, uh, as a result, when the Son of God thought he was separate from God, the one big Son of God mind busted up into all these fragments called arcs of light. Every being's got an arc of light or spark of light, and that arc or spark contains the whole, contains purity, contains equal love, everything of God. But yet that spark's got to get released. And then once it's released, the great ray downloads. But also, I was listening to one of those Lama Surya Das's podcasts, which was called Naked Awareness, something like that. See, naked means pure, clear, and called emptiness, Longchenpa says. Emptiness just means pure of any concepts or feelings. But Lama Surya Das explains there's various stages of awakening or enlightenment. And each person chooses which stage they're okay with. And they may be okay with just feeling peaceful, joyful, and happy, right? That's okay. If they've had a real violent life, that's a big ass deal, right? Peaceful, calm. But see, where I'm taking you all that show up here, we're going into the subtle light body besides this mind, and we're recognizing the heart as a Vajra heart. It's the divine heart, divine guard heart, and the mind awakens to its holy divinity. And then all these chakras that are parts of the subtle light body, they open. There's meridians, wind channels, the central channel. So depending on what phase of enlightenment you want, that's where you're going to put some more practice into. And if you're here, you're probably into that, because that's where I'm at. And talk about breadcrumbs. I I didn't know a thing about chakras, wind channels, light meridians, red and white drops of consciousness, yin and yang, uh, masculine, feminine, left side of the body, right side of the body. I knew nothing about these things. It just naturally, breadcrumbs showed up, and I felt comfortable with it. So I went and contemplated it, investigated it, researched, integrated it in my life, practiced. And breathing was one of and that's breathing is another breadcrumb, where I was listening to a podcast of Lama Surya Das where he said when he felt out of tune, he'd breathe in and out of his eyelids. And when I did that, I recognized it immediately brought me vertical into this vertical axis of the great ray, because I can get kind of, in the world and need to get realigned vertical. But when that happened, Holy Spirit, I didn't know it till later, wanted me to breathe up and down this central channel. I didn't know to do that. I was just guided to take my breath and go upward, upward, upward out of the top. I knew that that time there's a crown chakra, up, up, up out of that top of that head to, in my mind, heaven was above the head, because I felt the great ray came from above my head. So I just, breathed, because I'm stretching my mind. I'm thinking I'm stretching my egoic mind. And I'm breathing as far up as I can go. See that stretching this whole central channel, stretching my mind to think outside this tiny little box. But I then would breathe downward through my whole body and into the ground, out of the earth, into the universe, past the universe to source. You've been with me when I explained all that. But I didn't just breathe up and down. I breathed 10 directions. And let me tell you, that opened up the root chakra. And the root chakra made me feel stable and secure, which I've never felt my whole life. So that was a breadcrumb, is breathing. Now, we never ever want to force Kundalini arising, but due to my spiritual foundation, this breath work, one of the things that then happened was the Kundalini arising, which causes the Amrita oil to fall and ignite the flames in the heart chakra, the solar plexus, the root, and the crown. Those flames burn up karma. And that son of God was so ingenious. He had these light forces, the great ray, yin and yang. This were other breadcrumbs to learn about this. These are light forces that animate this body. It's nothing really stupendous. The Son of God just needed a way to keep this form, get this form inflated, so it'd have 3D and could float around and he could move it. He could move it around. It wasn't a flat 2D object. It was just figuring out ways to inflate this form to play with it. And what resulted though, great ray, yin and yang, that's yin and yang are three light forces. Then you got your in and out breath, that's two energy sources. Let's see, heart vibration, in and out, and mind. There's seven, at least I realize, light forces that are animating this form when in the separation, they all got split apart and the great ray got cut off, but they got all divided up and weren't working together. So in awakening, these light forces awaken and start to get rejoined. And when they're rejoined, you have a subtle light body that gets rejoined with your physical body, remerged with it, rejoined into this invisible clear light body. They're called the three kayas in Buddhism. And that was a breadcrumb that's listed here. But anyway, all of this was part of my karma and part of y'all's, or you wouldn't be here listening to this. Y'all, we've all been sitting with these truths in other lifetimes, or you would not be here. This would be too far out for you to listen to. You'd just be saying statements out of the course and thinking that was it, folks. I feel peaceful. That's good enough. Don't get me wrong. Peace is beautiful. I mean, really. So I also would, if breadcrumbs were Facebook posts from these holy beings that resonated with me, I would go contemplate them, investigate, research, and anything I felt really, you know, drew me, I would integrate in my daily life. And that within this email, this last one, that's these chants and prayers that the LA Dzogchen group that I meditate with is, I didn't know it, but there are phases to what I'm talking about here that Buddha identified. Trying to find is the may my Dharma practice become the path. I love that quote. Let's see if I can find it. It boils down to first you're realizing that that there's something you want to practice. I can paraphrase this. So bless and empower us. That's how it goes. Bless and empower us that our minds and hearts may turn towards the Dharma. Because see, your mind and heart turns toward teachings, turn to the Course teachings or Buddha teachings. Bless and empower us that our Dharma practice becomes the path. That means you've now got a spiritual practice. You've got a path. Let's see, may our bless and empower us that our hearts, minds turn towards the Dharma. Bless and empower us that our Dharma practice becomes the path. Bless and empower us that the path dispels confusion. See, by having the path of spiritual practice, you get less confused. Bless and empowers that confusion itself dawns as primordial awareness. And see, those are four stages. Primordial awareness is awakening and enlightenment. But how can you have that if you don't have teachings that you're studying? Don't set up a daily practice of meditation and practice of the truths, integrate them in your life, etc. Can confusion lesson. So that was another breadcrumb because I contemplated that. I contemplated that. Um, that's called here they are, the four dharmas of Gampopa and Longchenpa. Now, here's another big breadcrumb, and it could be as huge as meditation and forgiveness. And that breadcrumb was to help all beings awaken. In my course studies, uh, I never thought about helping others awaken. It was me, myself, and I, right? And them. It was some them over there. But it came to we. We're all in this together. We sink and swim together. And so, and with this LA Dzogchen daily meditation group, chanting these prayers and reading them. They're in Tibetan, a lot of them, and then they're in English, where I would contemplate their English version, and then they actually we dedicate the merit of our practice for all beings, to help all beings free them from suffering, and dedicate any peace we felt, calmness or bliss, to all humanity. I'd never thought about anything like that. That's hugely transformative because it opens your heart. And within that breadcrumb is what Jesus calls the circle of purity. By welcoming in all these beings and wishing them well is beyond measure. It's beyond measure. And this is called the four immeasurable, hold on, one, this is called four immeasurable aspirations. And these words came from Buddha in the 5th century BCE. May all beings possess happiness and the inner causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the inner causes of suffering. May all beings remain undivided from the sacred joy which is free from suffering. May all beings remain undivided from the sacred joy which is free from suffering. May all beings come to rest in great peace and equanimity beyond attachment and aversion to friends or strangers. We say that chant, that prayer every time because we're dedicating the merit. And by this rote repeating of prayers and chants and me contemplating them, I'm now recognize what's happening. My thinking is being transformed from just thinking of worldly activities to spiritual activities. And what does it mean to help all beings wake up? That help wishing them well, wanting them to not suffer. Very, very powerful. Another breadcrumb I've got written here is the 4 bodhisattva vows. Sentient beings are numberless, we vow to liberate them. Delusions are inexhaustible, we vow to transcend them. Dharma teachings are boundless, we vow to realize them. The Buddha's enlightened way is unsurpassable, we vow to embody it. See, we could put Jesus' name in there. It's just saying, with that clear light of forgiveness, we can cut through delusions and transcend them. See that word transcend? All these breadcrumbs were causing me, my mind and heart, to get body, speech, to get transmuted and transformed into a holy dimension. And it's literal. What I'm discussing here is literal. These aren't just words. These are literal transformations till ultimately the body is called Vajra, V-A-J-R-A, means it's a tool that's got two ends. It's vertical. It's about probably that big in size. And on each end, it comes to a point, and in the middle is a round ball. To me, I don't know if this is true or not. To me, both one end is representing heaven, nirvana, and the other end is representing hell or samsara, and the center is where they join, where the heaven and earth rejoin, are inseparable, and nirvana and samsara are inseparable in the middle. but this tool is used by holy enlightened beings during ritual ceremonies where they turn it, they move it. And when they're turning it, they know what they're doing. They're visualizing where they're striking on a person, if it's their mind or their heart or certain chakra. And they literally can cut through, see through it to its color and to help it open. So Vajra is a huge word for me because it signifies cutting through, breaking up, pure diamond vision, purification. And I recognize that's what's happening to me. My heart's become a Vajra heart, and actually it's a Vajra heart mind. The heart mind are joined, but the mind is meticulous and can cut through with its thoughts. And then Vajra heart mind, Vajra body, that the body's been transformed to that golden light, Buddha, Christ body, embodying the subtle and physical body merged. You're a light being. Literally, you're a light being. Okay. All right, how's our time? Oh, one really important breadcrumb was when I realized feelings result after thoughts. I never thought about that in linear sequence. It's thoughts, feelings, and then actions. If I don't stop and recognize what my feelings are, knee-jerkedly will result some action. That's a behavioral pattern. So due to meditation, sky gazing meditation, this chanting, because, oh, I forgot to say, all that chanting of these prayers are designed, every word in them carry a certain vibration. They vibrate through all these chakras, your skin. They're meant to help open that subtle light body. Anyway, so I never recognized how important it was to know, realize what I'm feeling. And when I feel anything but peaceful, now I go and ask myself, what was I thinking? Because I know to check back, what was I thinking? Because when I'm thinking, there's probably a judgment of a person or an event. And as a result of that judgment, I have that feeling. And I don't want it to result into an action where I then take on karma. I go back to the thought and cut through the thought to see the clear light of spirit that person or event was, to not let it go beyond just a feeling, get back and cut through that thought. And then just be. Then you just rest. You just rest as best you can, because I never knew what rest meant, or be. Be just means, and like that pause between thoughts, if you can just be within that pause between thoughts, which gets longer and longer, or you just kind of lean back from focusing real intently on a subject, give yourself some space, let thoughts and feelings settle in your mind, just let them settle. And what'll come over you will be a calmness or a peace. That's your true nature. Now let's see, oh, and at the end of this email, I realized Holy Spirit was consolidating in my mind certain thoughts or phrases that were really important to him. And as a result, but also I felt comfortable with it and I felt they were important as well. And they were thoughts, they were truths and phrases that were common among when I listened to podcasts or videos or Zoom retreats or read books. And I'll just read some of them. And these are all breadcrumbs that I practiced to bring me back home, to bring me back home. Breathe, smile, relax, and be. We talked about that with Dee and that family, where we breathe. If you don't feel like smiling externally, smile internally, because then that changes endorphins. That smile internal changes these inward feelings. Chemically changes. Just relax, be. Let go means let come and go. That's talking about these thoughts and feelings. Let them go. That means let them come and go. If I stop clinging and pushing on them, they'll arise and liberate all on their own, because the internal winds of your subtle body, the great ray yin and yang, those winds are coming in and going out. That light energy is coming in and going out. It's causing some internal subtle winds that cause this flow of thoughts and feelings are moving back and forth. If I don't grab onto these thoughts or feelings and attach to them and then ruminate with them about a story or a tale, make a memory that I ruminate on some more, gluing it more and more to my body, right? Even though we glue these things to our body, we can let them go by breathing in and out of them and seeing through the story that we told ourselves, to let it go. Nothing left to do but rest in the view. That's so powerful. Nothing left to do but rest in the view. Because see, when we fell from separation, from holiness to this separation, we fell into doingness. Do, not beingness. We forgot all about beingness. Because I can imagine what happened. You do, you're like, how am I going to get back home? I got to do something. How can I get back? Well, we don't get back home by fighting it or resisting. We relax, let go. What if I forgot in this whole teaching, when I saw what Holy Spirit was doing, which was wanting me to dwell deeper into what were these breadcrumbs I followed to come back home. This morning, when I looked at Facebook, I saw a post that Lama Sri Das that coincided with what I was thinking. And this is what he does when he's uncertain what to do about something. Too often, compulsive overdoing creates further unnecessary complications. See, I was just talking about doing. He says it here, it creates further unnecessary complications. When at a complete loss, some put down their head, fold their hands, and rely on a higher power for clarity, guidance, and direction. Myself, I bow down and, as it were, place my head in the lap of the Buddha and await inspiration. This actually works. I get clear and feel renewed. Give it a try and let me know. So that breadcrumb of doing versus being, learning being is huge, because after the separation, we went into the doing mode, not being, relaxing, resting in this clear light that's here. And it's clear because it's pure, equal love. God is pure, equal love. And because it's so pure, it shows up as clear light. I never really got that. It's come to me that equal love is pure and it shows up as clear light. So God's presence shows up as clear light. Also, Holy Spirit's presence. Now, what I can do, I'll add these other varying breadcrumbs to next week, whatever topic I pick, because it's 8:06. Anyone got a thought or a question before I stop the recording? Bear in mind, people love to hear any of your questions or comments or what's going on with you. because I really appreciate what Dee shared. So with no thoughts or questions, going once. Let's do our forgiveness work. Thank you for coming out tonight. It's so beautiful. I greatly appreciate it. I really, really do. I love you all. I love each of you so much. Your presence helps me. Wow, just the synergy of this group. It goes out. This synergy is so beautiful. This synergy goes out to the whole universe. This is a beacon of light and love going out to the whole universe, folks. It is not a small thing for you to come out on this Tuesday night and us be together and be of common mind, share awarenesses, rest in the view. So welcome, welcome. There's God, Angela. We're seeing through God, Angela's form to the clear light of spirit that she is. See through the clear light of Chaz's form to the clear light of God she is. See through Dee's form to the clear light of spirit that she is, and the clear light of spirit that her Lucas is, and her neighbor, and the brother that just passed. The clear light of spirit through the family. Clear light of spirit that Ed is of God. Clear light of spirit that Jerry is God. Clear light of spirit Debbie Thomas is God. Clear light of spirit Terry Wagers is God. Clear light of spirit Leon McMillian is God. Clear light of spirit Glenda God is. And to Joan and Joanne, Danelle, Alvaro, Zalo, Michelle, Keith Irvin. Let's see, there's James, Francis, Rob, Alvaro, Danelle, Julie Bradley, Simone Foley and her son David and husband Sean, Corinne Clark, Sally Quinn. Let's see, Chaz is here, Liz, Lorraine, Steve, Jerry's here, Gabby, Susan A., those that listen to this video later. All sentient beings, God, demigods, humans, animals, hungry ghosts, denizens, and hell. Please help them remove all outer, inner, and secret obstacles, so they recognize their divine clear light spirit and everyone else's clear divine spirit. Thank you for coming out. Ooh, thank you. Okay. And Barbie. Let's send out some vibes to Barbie. Barbie wasn't feeling well tonight. I think it was her back. So we'll just send some light. Breathe in and out of Barbie's back. That is giving her the clear light and receiving the darkness in a loop. It's not our doing it. This is Holy Spirit and light beings doing that loop. We're just the vessel that lets it happen. That loop of sending out clear light, breathing out, exhaling clear light, breathing in the darkness that gets dispelled automatically, breathing in and out of her back. Barbie, we wish you well. Thank you. Okay, now we start the recording. Ooh, we find the button.